lackluster mission in which you start with one objective each, and then you are able to draw one objective per objective marker controlled at the start of your turn. I'm playing Crimson Slaughter, and it's with regret that after the game I have found that my Battleforge army was not regular. I have taken a allied detachment of regular Chaos Marine, which cannot happen because they are the same faction. The level 3 of Slaanesh gets the primaries from Slaanesh. From Biomancy gets Smite, Life Leech, and I forgot to roll the Force, which end up being Warpsmith. The level 3 wheels the Bellstar of Manon gets from Divination Foreboding, Prescience, Precognition, and Scryer's Gaze. My opponent is trying the new Imperial Guard units, or the Astartes Militarum, so he's got some Science and some Command Squad in Tempestus Militarum in reserve. He's also fielding a squad of 5 Ogrins with a level 2 Psyker, and he's rolling Biomancy. He's got Warp Speed and Life Leech. I win the roll. I let my opponent deploy first. He's putting his Hydra at the bottom there, out of the camera angle, just next that ruin where he's got some Las Cannon Heavy Weapon Squad, bottom left of the screen. His Sentinels are behind the building on the top there, and so is his Ogryn squad. So the objectives are spread out a little bit. I've got 2 almost for the taking in deployment zone. There's 1 in the forest at the bottom of the screen there. So I deploy a squad of cultists. Hopefully they will be able to go to ground and get some cover. And then I deploy the squad of cultists behind the building there, which you cannot see. And next to them is a Land Raider, and behind them is a Rhino with a possess inside. For Warlord Choice, my opponent gets the one where he gets D3 infiltration units and decide not to use it, and then I get the -1 reserve roll to my opponent, which is pretty good given the Valkyries and the Tempestus units. The Militarum gets objective 43, which is objective 3 right in the middle of the table on his side there in a ring, so that's a victory point for him. He moves his big blob squads towards objective 1, which is at the center of the table. And then try to shoot at the cultists, which are sitting ducks behind there, but can get through to anything. So I think he kills 1. So that's good. I'm very happy with that. In my turn, I move my cultists, which are behind the building, forward towards the objective. Move my Land Raider so he can shoot at stuff and protect the Rhino, and move the Rhino over there. I move up the cultists who've been shot at to get better cover. Comes the Psychic phase, and I get +6, which is pretty cool with the 2 Sorcerers. However, I completely screwed up. I put the Sorcerer with all the shooty stuff, Witchfire, inside the Land Raider, which has no access fire point, and the one with Biomancy and the Rhino cannot do anything to the other units, so pretty screwed up there. Also, I did not cast Scryer's Gaze, which would allow me to reroll for reserve next turn for the Mayhem pack, the 3 Halberds. The tactical objective I draw was objective 5, which I cannot do in reasonable time, so I discard it. In his turn 2, he moves his big blob forward towards objective 1 and then runs them through. He shuffles his unit on the side, shuffles his last cannon from the 30 blobs platoon so he can shoot at the Rhino, and he gets a glance through. He turbo boosts his address so they get more visibility on my units. He scores objective 6 and discards Kill My Warlord. In my turn, I'm thinking the left side is pretty much uncontested. It's going to be hard. I need my Hellbrutes, but they do not. I roll a 1. They do not come down. So what I decide to do is try to take care of the 3 last cannon on the Sentinels, move the Land Raider forward, get the Chosen out with the 2 Meltas in front, and try to neutralize the big threats to my armored units. I roll to get objective 4, which is the forest, so I move my cultists out, thinking they're going to be dead anyway by firepower or charge next turn. The second objective I drew was to kill one of the, or destroy one of his units by shooting, or 3 and get the D3 victory points. So I kill this one. In the psychic phase, I realized that Scry Gaze has to be cast before for the following turn, which I tried and I failed miserably. And then I tried to use some Witchfire from the Sorcerer, which is with the Chosen on his sniper units, but failed to do anyone. A grenade and a 2-mana task from the Chosen failed to do anything to the Sentinels, which was disappointing, but I succeed in charging them. So here, big mistake none of us has picked up, and I apologize for that. So the cultists who came out did try to run, and they failed. They missed their run by 1, so I moved them back towards the cover, but then I still charged them the assault phase, which shouldn't happen. So unfortunately, his blob squad didn't kill enough, and they get into the combat with a big blob and contest the 2 objectives, so objective 1 and 4, which is in. So after consolidation and all the fisticuffs happen, he kills 3 of my guys, I kill a few as well, and we stick. He loses combat, but he sticks around. So pretty good for cultists. Yeah, the combat between the Chosen, the Sorcerer, and the Sentinels is a wash. My Power Fist only succeed in finishing 1 Sentinel. The other 2 are still there, and of course in his turn he's going to charge my squad with all his stuff. For tactical objectives, he gets 23 and 13, so twice objective 3, which I controlled, but he's in range if he kills me in combat, and 52, so he needs to make one of my units flee in combat. He tries to shoot at the Land Raider, but does nothing, which is good. And then he's got nothing else to shoot, so he's charging his blob, charging his Ogryn into the combat with the Chosen, and that's bad news for me. His Cimeris Psyker has warp speed, so +3 attacks, +3 initiative. The 4 remaining cultists get destroyed, and with his consolidation, he gets in range of objective 3, so that's good victory points for him. So there ensues a long discussion about which unit can attack what, and there's the rule, which is clear in the rulebook now, which I didn't know, is the models have to hit the model they are in contact with priority. So I got a lot of guys with the Sentinels in contact, whereas all his Blob and his Ogryn can hit everything they want pretty much. So that's bad news for me, but I do a few wounds. I win combat by a couple, and his units stick around, which is not good. What hurts the most is, of course, his blob doing that many hits. Fortunately, he hits and wounds on hits on 4s, wounds on 5s. His Allgreens, however, hits on 4s and wounds on 3s, so that's not good. In my turn, I get objective 56, which is harness the warp, successfully manifest a psychic power, which I think I can get this one. At least that's be 1 victory point. I move the Warpsmith in the Land Raider, so he can repair it while it causes mayhem. I move then the Possessing Rhino towards the Blob Squad at the bottom of the table there. Try to contest. I need to get them into combat. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, I failed my reserve roll, so the Hellbrute Mayhem pack does not come in. In shooting, the Land Raider shoots everything at the company command squad, kills 4 including the Warlord, which was great, and they flee off the table. That's 1 unit destroyed in a shooting phase, and that's another victory point. Go to combat, and I destroy another Sentinel, can get to his Psyker, declaring a challenge. Got a few guys left. I keep my icon of access, which gives me feel no pain of 5 up on the Sorcerer and the rest of the unit, but it's not going well. There's too many wounds, too many models on his side. In his turn 4, he gets for tactical objective 24, 15, so objective 4 and 5, and 64, which is assassinate. He needs to kill one of my characters. He moves his blob squad at the bottom of the screen there towards the forest, towards objective 4. Succeeds his reserve roll and gets his 2 Valkyries in with the Tempestus squad. The Valkyrie proceed to destroy the Rhino of the possessed. In combat, another heated discussion where he basically ends up killing the last remaining chosen unit member, which leaves my sorcerer, who is in a challenge locked with his sergeant. He dispatched the sergeant in the same turn, but then his Ogren unit and his sentinel wants to hit the sorcerer, which I say, hold on a second, I'm in a challenge, you can hit me. But it turns out that nothing in the rules says that you can't. So even logic and argumentation, etc., leads to believe that yes, if you are in a challenge and there's nothing else to hit, because you can roll the wounds over into the challengees, you can then hit the challenged if there's nothing else to hit and you are able to hit. So we discuss and argue, and I feel betrayed. Deep inside, I feel betrayed by the rules, because I wouldn't have charged my sorcerer thinking that he could be hit in combat. But thing is, I kill the sergeant, I roll on wound table and get a 65. So my sorcerer is gone. I get a demon priest who is then placed 3 inches away from the sorcerer's place, so out of combat. I lose my psychic power, I lose my gear, and I'm not very happy about it. But with regard to our conundrum, after the game, I double check. The internet says, and the internet is always right, joke, that yeah, you can hit it to a challenge. So in my turn, I get objective 55 and 26. So 55 is psychological warfare. I need to cast 1 psychic power or 3, and I get D3 victory points. So I'm gonna try that. So sorry, I moved my possess before I get the objective, so I put them back. The Hellbrute Mayhem pack comes down automatically in this turn, and do not scatter. So I get 1 next to the big combat squad, next to the Demon Prince, 1 behind objective 1 and the sniping squad, and 1 next to the bottom left objective 6 there. In psychic phase, I only succeed to cast 1 spell, so that's 1 victory point. Now I'll take it. The Hellbrutes cannot move, so the craze table that says you can run and charge do not apply. We play like so. I torch a lot of his models, make them flee, which is great. Just wish these guys would have come earlier if I'd played Squire Gaze better, I guess. I forgot to mention Demon Prince, who is hiding behind the ruin. He charged the Hydras, smashed one, immobilized it, and remains in combat, which is good because it's a squad. His unit prepare a nasty surprise for the Hellbrutes at the top left there. His blob squad in the forest shuffles and moves towards the objective and tries to make the charge harder for the possessed. The two Tempestus squad disembark from Valkyries, who are now in hovering mode. The first squad shots at the Land Raider, immobilizes it, and get the order to battle focus, basically in cover. Then in the top left of the board, the Hellbrute proceeds to be shot down by attrition. So many shots, it did kill him though in the end. The Astartes Militarum squad at the bottom right of the screen shoot at the possessed, but only cause one casualty. One of the Hydras being immobilized, the squad is still stuck in combat with the Demon Prince, who destroys the remaining hull points. In my turn 5, I get 42, 66, and 11. So 11 objective 1, 66 big game hunter needs to kill a monster or vehicle, so that can be done. And 42 is behind enemy lines, need to be within 12 inches of his table edge. Unfortunately, the craze table for the Hellbrutes do not go as planned. The Hellbrute, which is immobilized at bottom left there, needs to run and can't, so he needs to shoot at something. The other one, who needed to move, cannot either, so he's stuck there, which is annoying. I move the Demon Prince in the cover, in the middle of the table there, and tries to get into the last cannon heavy weapon squad. The possessed move towards objective 1 at the middle of the table there. The leftmost Hellbrute dispatches one of the autocannon next to the Demon Prince there, and then the second Hellbrute proceeds to destroy the remaining model of the sniping unit, which is on objective 1. I then run my possessed on objective 1, so they will get the objective. The cultist and the sorcerer, which has been hiding in a building at the top right of the table, come up and shoot at the Tempestus squad, cause a casualty. We roll and we get a turn 6. The blob squad at the bottom gets closer to the possessed. And before we go anywhere else, tactical objective, get 55. He must cause a panic or pinning check on my part fail to gain a victory point. And now you see the Melta magic destroys my Land Raider. The Warpsmith gets away. He then snipes my Demon Prince. Well, the Demon Prince. I had a Sorcerer initially, and now I got that crab. Again, the Hellbrute who can move cannot move due to the craze table, who is unfavorable for me. I get objective 35, so that's objective 5, and 13, that's objective 3. The Warpsmith, the Cultist and Sorcerer shoot at the Tempestus and obliterates the unit. Oh yeah, and the Sorcerer throws a grenade, for good measure. The Hellbrute shoots at the Ogrin and causes a wound. The possessed charge the blob squad and lose a single model for their trouble, which is pretty cool. In combat, the possessed killed a few, but not enough. He's got too many bodies. He loses, but sticks in combat. We roll and we get yet another turn, so turn 7. The tactical objective of my opponent is irrelevant, as I seem to have forgotten to record it. Yeah, I think he's trying to get the points for killing a character, which is my Sorcerer, or the Warpsmith. So he's melted to death, and we forgot to get the Valkyries back in, so here they are. Unfortunately, they only kill a few of the cultists, nothing more. In combat, he reduces the possess squad to 1 model, and gets dangerously close to my 12-inch side of the table, which will give him a victory point. And in my last turn, the Hellbrute rolls and has to run towards the closest unit, which is the blob squad. In the shooting phase, nothing happens. In a psychic phase, nothing of note. Shooting phase, the cultist and sorcerer on top of the building tries to shoot at the Ogryn and the Psyker unit, but do nothing. And the Hellbrute makes it into the combat. They now have Hammer of Wrath, which is pretty cool. Do a few wounds, but then he's got one guy with a Melta Bomb and rolls a 6 on his pen. He hits, he rolls a 6 on his penetration test. The Hellbrute explode, but do not kill or cause a panic onto the blob squad, which consolidates towards my table edge, and he ends up... Actually, he shouldn't have got a point, but because it's the end of my turn, but there you go. Interesting. Very disappointed with the combat changes. I guess it makes more chance. There's no real rationale behind one single guy holding 13 guys. Say, hold on, I'm fighting that guy. I'll come back to you in a second. Yeah, that really doesn't seem realistic. So, yeah, single beefy character will not survive long into combat, regardless or not if there are challenges on the other side. There you go. Hope you enjoy the game. Hope you enjoy the report. See you next time.